So I've been building my network marketing business for 2 years. Well, it felt like 2 long years because guess what? It was just me, myself, and I. I didn't have one person that was actually part of my team. One of my friends actually pulled me aside and said, Sarah, you got to figure out how to get out of your own way. And I was able to find a strategy that allowed me to do that. And my business absolutely took off from there.
And I was in 6 months and I wasn't making any money. I was struggling, I was failing, I was ready to quit almost every single day. Because you know what? I wanted something for nothing. I was hoping to get lucky. It was like, man, just let me find somebody that can make me all this money. And that wasn't working. And then I found out about these 3 simple strategies and started implementing them. In like the 7th month in the business, I started making like $600 a month and I never looked back.
Now make sure to subscribe to our channel for content like creating your perfect story, figuring out your elevator pitch. Make sure you watch all the way to the end to catch the full story.
Hey everybody, it's Tony and Sarah Zolecki, and we've been involved in this network marketing profession now for over 20 years. And check it out, we're top earners in our company. We've been just inducted into the $1 Million Hall of Fame recently. But you know the crazy thing about that? It wasn't always like that, was it?
It was definitely not like that.
And here's the thing, I was involved and introduced to this profession when I was 19 years old. I was a lost kid. I was hanging with the wrong crowd. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I was actually working on my mom's taco truck selling tacos.
Now, that's not a bad thing, but probably after a while, like lots and lots of tacos probably is not good for your metabolism, right?
yeah. But
you were 19,
Yeah.
right? When you're 19, you're invincible, right? You can do anything.
Yeah, that's how I felt. And here's the thing. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? My life, I have no idea. Am I going to go to college? I was kind of going, but I really wasn't feeling it. You know, am I going to go work somewhere for 40 years or what am I going to do? And then my sister calls me and she's like, you got to come hear about this network marketing business. And I had no idea what network marketing was. But I remember going to Chicago, Illinois, sitting in a network marketing presentation and getting excited. They started drawing circles on the board. They showed these testimonials of some people just like me that were having success. There were all these beautiful people in the room and I'm like, Mom, she came with me. We're doing this. And that's how I got involved in this profession. And then I started and I screwed the whole thing up for a long time.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So I too was a kid. I was 21 years old. I was living in Dallas, Texas at the time. We're actually both Midwest kids. So anybody that's in the Midwest, go Midwest. So I was living in Dallas. I actually was nannying for a couple of guys that played in the NHL for their families. And I had a great life, guys. I mean, I had a great life, but here's a challenge that I saw. Is that I was raising somebody else's kids. I was driving somebody else's car. I was living in somebody else's house. Like none of it was mine. Like it wasn't like a real life. It was kind of like I was living in this fantasy. And so I was like, you know what? I need to do something different. And so I came back home, actually was working just some odd and end jobs, some part-time stuff. And it was introduced to network marketing by a friend of mine. And it was so interesting because number one, I, no-showed on them 4 different times. So for those of you that might know people that maybe say no to you or not now, or they ghost you, right? Don't worry. Sometimes those people could be a Sarah Zolecki too. And finally, 4 times, I don't know why, but 4th time was a charm. I had a chance to take a look at the business and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is cool. Like I love that these guys, they don't care if you're educated or not, because I had done college for like a quarter and realized, very quickly that that wasn't my deal.
Right.
I love that they didn't care your gender or where you're from, or if you're from a big town, a small town, it doesn't matter. All they said is they're like, Sarah, do you want to get better? And if the answer is yes, then guess what? Boom, you're in. And I loved it, right? And so I got involved in this profession just because I fell in love with the people and the concept behind it.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think back, and what was my biggest challenge early is that I didn't have the right expectations on my business. Like I thought, man,
Yeah.
I'm going to get in, I'm going to make 10 grand a month right away.
Oh, you mean everyone doesn't do that?
No, they don't at all, right?
Right.
And I remember going, what the heck? I didn't make like money for 6 months. And I had to understand that I had to learn the skills. Like I had to figure this thing out. Everyone has a different learning curve. And I had to pay attention more and like follow the system and not do it Tony's way. Like all these things were a big piece of me not making any kind of money. And once I realized that and go, you know what? You're going to put a little more time in sometimes early on in the business. And the money isn't as much as the time. But if you do it consistently and you work on getting better in those areas, guess what's going to happen? All of a sudden, the time will go down that you put into your business and the money will go up. And that was one of my biggest aha moments. But the 3 things I figured out, you know, when I started making $600-700 a month, my 7th month in the business was I had to get my numbers up. I had to start talking to a lot more people. I was talking to the same person or the same couple people, and I was just all over them day in, day out. And I was like, what the heck? They're not responding. Well, they just weren't interested. They were tired of being annoyed by Tony, right?
They probably like would see you calling and they'd be like, oh my gosh, not Tony again.
Yes,
right?
yes. It was so crazy. So one, I had to get my numbers up. I'm like, no, Tony, you need to talk to 10 new people every single day. And once I got that piece, here's what happened. I go, great, the numbers are up. If I can show them the business in a professional, interesting, compelling way, and I can show it to them the right way, guess what's going to happen? They're either going to see it or they won't see it. But it's going to be shown to them the right way, in that professional, interesting, compelling way. And once I started doing that, and then I figured out the third piece, which was I wasn't emotionally attached. So whether they said yes, whether they said no, it really didn't matter.
That's easier for guys and girls.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's for a whole nother video, right?
Yeah, that's another training. But here's what I realized. When I didn't really care if they joined or didn't, and I was just showing them the business, because they were saying no to the business, they weren't saying no to Tony, they were saying no to the business. So my numbers were up, I was showing it to them the right way, and I wasn't emotionally attached. All of a sudden, my business exploded. And those 3 things are things I do every single day today, 20 years later.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I mean, I remember like, you know, early on in my business, I mean, the first 2 years of my business, like I wish I could say they were bliss, but they weren't. I mean, they were difficult. I mean, I was me. Like I tell people all the time, like I was leading when nobody was listening, right? I felt like I was like yelling into a canyon. Nobody heard me. It was like, hello, hello, hello. Like it was nobody. It was me, myself, and I, right? And, you know, I remember I would get so frustrated. And, you know, someone sat me down and shared with me just this really important strategy of like, you know, Sarah, like you need to make the business not about you. Like you got to figure out how to get out of the way. And I kind of had a light bulb moment and I was like, okay, so how do I actually do that? And for me, it was really about like, you've got to make sure that you're following the system, right? You've got to make sure that you're utilizing tools that allow you to step back, where the tools can do all the talking and all like the pointing and the reading and all that good stuff, right? The tools can do all of that for you versus you, right? And why was that important for me? Well, it was important because I was 21 years old and I was a nanny, right? So I had no business being a business. I couldn't go to people that I looked up to and said, Joe, you should listen to me, right? I mean, and he probably was like, kid, I wiped your butt when you were 2 years old. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they weren't listening to me. So I had to learn how to utilize these tools, whether it be, oh my goodness, guys, there's so many incredible tools, right? Whether it be a 3-way chat or a Zoom or a recorded link or a live webinar or whatever it may be, right? So there's so many tools that you can utilize to build your business. Like once I actually I made sure that like nothing had to do with me and it was all about the system and the tools. Well, guess what happened? Oh my gosh, people started saying yes. And people started coming in and they started using the system. And all of a sudden, like my group was growing really kind of with or without me because I did such a great job getting out of the way of my business, right? And that's so, so important because I know 2 years it took me to enroll my very first person, right? And so I'm so grateful for implementing that because, well, here I am 20 years later and I still do the same thing every single day, right?
Yeah, and I think, Sarah, where we're at in our career right now, in our life right now, it's really about impact and contribution and
Big time.
legacy. We have a huge business all over the world, super grateful for that, but we want to give it back. We want to pour into people and, everything we've learned, everything we experience every single day, like we want to put that out so other people can take it, use it, and create their story.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if this video helped you, here's what we want you to do. Please like and subscribe to our channel to stay connected with us because we want to stay connected with you. We're actually going to be doing a multi-part series showing people how to craft your network marketing story and also practicing your elevator pitch. Can't wait to see you on the next video.